If you want to know how to choose the best RAM for your PC, then you have landed on the right video. In this video, I'll be telling you how to choose RAM for your computer and the things to consider for buying a RAM. So, let's get started. RAM's one of the most important components of a computer. You can't even turn on your PC without having it. And if you're a gamer, then RAM has the third position in your priority list, just after the processor and graphics card. RAM has a great impact on your PC's performance, and it's no different in terms of gaming. I know it's hard for most of the people to know about all the technical terms present in a RAM's specification. And if you're among those, then don't worry, as you'll be learning all about these terms in a simplified version in this video. The acronym of the term RAM is Random Access Memory. Confused? Don't be. Let me tell you what it does. RAM stores temporary data in your computer while it's on. RAM helps in keeping the data which are not needed after turning off your computer. Unlike hard disks and SSDs, RAM does not store any data for a long amount of time. Now you may ask, what are the types of data that RAM store? Any simple examples? Okay, let's say you open the calculator app on your PC, input some numbers and press the equals button to get the answer. Then you close the app. These inputs and outputs are stored and used from the temporary storage of RAM. I think you got some of it, but you won't be needing this knowledge for playing games. So let's get to know about the terminologies which are stated in the RAM spec sheet. There are only 5 things to consider for selecting and purchasing the right RAM. And these factors are DDR version, memory capacity, clock speeds, latency, and types of heatsink. So let's start with the DDR version. DDR stands for Double Data Rate, which is an upgrade version of the previously used SDRAM. There are various generations of DDR. The DDR2 and DDR3 are a bit old for new computers. It's quite simple actually. The higher the DDR generation, the more powerful it is. So, if you are planning on buying a new PC, then definitely go with a DDR4 or the upcoming DDR5 RAM. You can check the supported version of DDR on your motherboard easily, as it's always written on your motherboard's specification sheet. Oh my god! Wow! Next up, we have the memory capacity. As I have said earlier, RAM stores data temporarily. So, the more room it gets for storing data, the better your PC can perform. But there's a catch. You don't need a lot of RAM memory for playing games. Generally, 4GB RAM's a bit less for most usage. But it's okay for playing music, watching videos, writing on docs and so on. But 8GB is the sweet spot for beginner level users, as it can handle both extensive web browsing, programming, gaming, and video editing. If you are an extensive level gamer or 4K video editor, then you might want to go with 16GB kits. But for all this usage, I don't think you'll need more. But still, there's an option for 32GB to 128GB if you can run some critical operations on your computer. As for now, anything over 16GB looks an overkill for gaming only. Now, let's talk about clock speeds. This is the data transfer speed of the RAM. Usually, all the DDR4 RAMs run at 2133 MHz at base clock, and you can overclock it in much bigger numbers. High-speed RAMs are very popular these days, as you can boost your game's FPS by 1 to 30 just by adding and overclocking a high-speed RAM. And people seem to do it more often, just because it saves them money by not upgrading their CPU and GPU. So, you might ask, what RAM speed should I get for myself? Before telling that, I'll ask you to check your motherboard's specifications, as there's a limit of RAM clock speeds for every motherboard. Overclocking to any numbers above that may burn or highly damage your PC components. So, if your motherboard supports high-speed RAMs, then I'd recommend you to get something in between 2666 MHz to 4000 MHz for now. Also, keep in mind that you'll need a good power supply to boost your RAM of that speed. Gaming performance seems to upgrade a tiny bit for the high speed of RAM, but it's totally worth it if you don't want to upgrade any other components, as they'll cost more. Now, we can talk about CAS latency of RAMs. This part might be a bit tricky for you, so to keep things simple, I'll tell you to go for lower numbers. The CAS latency in a RAM spec sheet is denoted by CL, then a number of 2 digits. So, if you're confused between two RAMs of the same memory capacity and clock speeds, look for CAS latency. The lower latency RAM will be the better one in them. The last thing you need to know for buying your desktop RAM is the quality of its heatsink. If you're into overclocking, gaming, and extreme usage, then you need to get a RAM with good quality heatsink. Different RAMs have different types of heatsink and they're built with different metals. You can find information about the RAM's heatsink from the product descriptions and reviews. Keep in mind that laptop RAM and desktop RAMs are different. Laptop RAMs look smaller and they're labeled as SOD IMM memories. So, if you are going to buy a new RAM for your desktop, check whether it's a desktop RAM or not. If you have been with me from the beginning of this video, then you have already earned adequate knowledge to buy a suitable RAM by yourself. Thank you very much for watching, and do let us know in the comment section below if you want any similar contents like this. Subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next video.